Unit 6, Learning Target number 8. Calculate measures of spread, the interquartile range. And the interquartile range is also a measure of spread, just like the range was a measure of spread. But the interquartile range involves breaking the data up into 4 pieces. So we're going to break it down into 4 pieces. Inter means between, so we're looking at the values between the 4 pieces of data. So let's look at a quick question, maybe that'll give us an idea of where we're going. How can we divide this data into 4 parts? Well, let's first count the number of items that we have here. These are the scores on an algebra test. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, we might want to divide them in half by drawing lines in between them, right? But what we wind up with is we can't draw a line that makes it even, right? Because this one now has 6 on that side, and this one has, now this one's got 5 on this side instead of, no, it doesn't work very well. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to divide it into 4 by finding the median and what we call the quartiles, the first and the third quartile, because the median is kind of like a quartile. So we'll get that there in just a second. If we were to divide this here, we could say, here's our median. Now we could split these in half by choosing that guy and these in half by choosing this guy as kind of like our middle ground. That's what we're going to do for the interquartile range. Now a quartile, remember, is a value that divides the data into 4 pieces. And inter means between. So here I've gone ahead and divided these up. Once again, I counted here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I got an odd number. I went through and I made ticks for each one of these guys so I could find the middle here. So we got 64 here, and here's a pair, and here's a pair. And then right here is the median. That's the middle. So my median here is 72. Now once I did that, I realized I've got this group over here, and I've got this group over here. How am I going to find the middle? If I can find the middle of these guys, then I'll have automatically broken this up into 4 pieces. So I looked at it and I said, well, let me count off the ticks again. I'll use red this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's my middle. Here's my median of just this side. I'm finding the median of this side. Then I went over here and I did the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I found my median on this side. So I found my 2 different medians, and these are called my quartiles. And this is my, number 64 is my first quartile. We call that 1Q. And this over here, I'll erase that 72 to keep it from being confusing. I put it back over here, 72. Now, over on this side, my 81 is called my third quartile. Now again, the median is right here, but we also can think of our median as the second quartile, or Q2, however you want to look at it. And we've divided this data up into 4 pieces. Here's one piece, here's another piece, here's another piece, and here's another piece. 4 total pieces, and these are our quartiles, our dividing points. So the first quartile was 64, and the third quartile was 81. We also have to think about what we might call our upper and lower extremes, or our upper and lower limits. 62 is the lowest score that we have here. That is our lower extreme. And 94 is the highest score that we have here. So that's our highest extreme, or our upper extreme. So our upper extreme is 94. And our lower extreme is 62. Once we found all of these guys here, mainly we're concerned about the first quartile and the third quartile. Once we find the first quartile and the third quartile, the interquartile range is just 3Q minus 1Q. So what do we have for 3Q? We've got 81. So I'll take 81. And from that, we will subtract 1Q, which is 64. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my calculator so you can see it. I know half of you are going to anyways, and I don't want to have to do it just manually to show you. So 81 minus 64 is what? 17. You could have done that in your head. So could I. But 17 is my answer. The interquartile range for this is 17. And what is that? That is the distance between this and this. The distance between these is the interquartile range, the difference between these two. Now our rules are slightly different depending on whether we're finding the interquartile range with an even number or an odd number. In this case, let's look at one with an odd number of data items. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 data items. Here are our steps for finding the interquartile range. First, we have to put the data in order. So many students forget to put the information in order. We can't find the median of this guy without putting them in order. Now, to save us some time, I have put these in order already. So here's our data in order. Now, we want to find the median. We want to find the median, so let's count. We've got 22 and 34. We've got 23 and 31, 25 and 27, and this is our median right here. Our median is 25. Now we need to find our 1Q and our 3Q. We need to find our first quartile and our third quartile. Well, that means we're going to find the average of both of these sides. So we'll find the average over here, not the average, the mean. We're going to find the mean on this side over here and the mean on this side over here. Over here we have 3, and the mean is this one right here in the middle. It's the one in the center, so this guy is Q1 or 1Q, however you want to write it. And then on this side we have 3 items, and the middle one is right there. So this is 3Q or Q3, whatever you want. So we find the median of numbers on the left. This is the median of the numbers on the left. And over here we have the median of the numbers on the right. Then we simply subtract 3Q and 1Q. So we take 31, 3Q, and we subtract from it 1Q, which is 23. And do you know what that is? It is 8. Punch it into your calculator if you don't believe me. There are 7 spaces between 23 and 30, and then you add one more. So my interquartile range is 8. That is the distance between these two quartiles. That is the range of those two. For our last example, let's find the interquartile range with an even number of data items. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 data items. That means we have an even number. So we've got to first follow our rules here. Put the data in order. So I've gone ahead and put that data in order for us. Now we have to find the median. There is no simple median because when we tick these guys off here, 1, 2, 3, we wind up with 2 in the middle. So how do we find the median? If you remember correctly, we find the average of those two guys. So these are our median. We take the average of them, and of course 58 plus 58 divided by 2 is going to be 58. So my median is going to be 58 here. And I'm going to draw my line right there between them. That's going to be my quartile right there, or my median. It's my second quartile or my median, whatever you want to call it. Now I have to look on both sides of these to find a median. And I find myself in the same situation. I've got 2 numbers over here. I've got to find the median. Well, 55 and 55 is the median between those. You add them together, you divide them by 2, you check it on your calculator, you're going to get 55. So I put my line right here, and this is my first quartile, my Q1 or my 1Q. And then over on this side, things are a little bit more complicated, right? I've got 4 of them. Again, I have to find the average of these two guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my trusty dusty calculator, which still has my information from the last time. And I'm going to add 59 plus 60. I think you can guess what this is going to be. And divide it by 2, and I'm going to get 59.5. So my Q2 on this side, I put my line right there, my Q2 is 59.5. So I've got my median, I've got my Q1 and Q3. Now, by the way, remember I just added these guys and divided them by 2. Now I'm going to subtract 3Q from 1Q. And what do I get? Here we go with the calculator. I get 59.5. That's my 3Q right here. And I have Q1, which is 55. So I'll subtract 55. And I get 4.5. My interquartile range is 4.5. And we call that the IQR. Interquartile range is 4.5. Now you can do it.